What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, 219 Jello. Oof, this is part 5. Been following the series yet? Go back, start at 1 and watch all the way. We're doing this now. Yep. Stay tuned. All right, first of all, you gotta do the old disclaimer. I am not an electrician. I can do some things. I'm going to try to follow the codes best to my knowledge, and I am going to get it inspected by the building inspection, my local county, and if it's not right, they're going to tell me it's not right. So this is not my first time doing anything like this. I did my shop, I did my old building I used to live in, but this is a little different. I'm actually doing the meter base and a 200 amp panel. I've done a 100 amp panel, haven't done a 200 amp panel yet. So let me show you what I've got going on. And like I said, I'm going with 200 amp service in this building. So I got me a 200 amp meter base there. And I chose to go with the one with the built-in disconnect. And it's got some spots there for some breakers. So I can, I could probably run, I don't know, an AC unit to that, or I can run my generator to this, whatever. I got some spots there to do whatever I need to do. And then I got my 200 amp panel, and it's gonna fit perfectly. I had to pick a bay, so I'm picking this bay right here. Second one, the first one is big enough from the corner of the building. I gotta put the gas meter in here, and I got, you've seen that before, the water and all that. So I got just enough room to put all this right here. All right, I chose to go with a Arlington mounting block. It has the built-in J channel, and I did paint it light gray. And it's a little bit small for my situation for the meter socket there. The meter socket's a little bit bigger than this. All that really matters is I got to get my conduit hole put in, my mounting screws line up, and I did have to drill a couple holes in the meter socket that it didn't have. No big deal. So I did drill that one, and I did drill that one. So that mounting plate will probably end right about here. So I'm going to have a little bit, not on it, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to silicone, we'll go over all that later, but it will be weather tight when I'm done, and it'll be right. I hope it'll be right. Keep watching, we're going to find out. I'm sure you guys will roast me. Someone will roast me. There's always somebody. Roast away. I already determined where I want my knockout location. It's going to be right there. My power company, they will come in through there, obviously. Up to the top. And so what I'm going to do is I put the breaker panel, we'll go back to back, I'll spin it around, put it back to back, and I already did that. So basically that knockout will be the one I use. By the time I spin this like this, line it up behind there, it'll line up. So I'm going to use that knockout, and I already figured all that out. As far as my 5 foot, which is right here, that's 5 foot for my concrete floor. So 5 foot, and that's where my finished grade is, a couple inches below that. So I'm in a 5 foot range right there. And I already measured the center of my meter socket down to that conduit pipe. And that was right there. I forgot how many inches it was. I want to say like 11 or something like that. Whatever it was. And that's about the height of my hole saw hole. Will be on my wall, but I do got to position it over here where it's going to really be. So what I did earlier was I already knew I'm using that knockout, and I mounted this thing, just mocked it up on my plate, my mounting plate, and I centered it left to right. And then I just wanted to give this some room here because you got 3/4 depth here. Okay, so that puts it right there. And I wanted to move that hole, I wanted some meat right here. I didn't want to be too far or too close to that J channel, so I came up another inch. And that's where I put the plate. So I already traced everything out, I already drilled the holes. Showed you all that already. So now I'm gonna get my hole saw, and I'm gonna drill this out. Got my center. Got me a 3-inch hole saw. Got my adapter here somewhere, so I'll get that thing drilled out next. All right, got the siding tore back off the building. Got that guy. And I checked it, and it'll fit perfect right there. So I'm gonna go back inside, and I'm gonna start mounting that panel first. I kind of know about where the height of the hole needs to be. I'll do some calculating, and I'll punch the hole through here, and that'll kind of dictate where I mount this guy. So that's the next step. Sorry about the fan noise, it's hot, but gotta run a fan. But let me show you what I just did. All right, I need to know what it is from the center of the meter to the center of the knockout. So from there to there. So mine is 15.5 inches from the center to center. So I know when I'm outside, I need to be 5 feet from grade, finished grade, to the center of my meter. And then I'm gonna come down that 15.5 inch, and that will be my location, elevation wise, of where my conduit's gonna go through. So, but it's also offset one direction. So I also know that, so I need to establish 5 foot here. Well, it's not really 5 foot inside because my floor is a little bit higher than finished grade. So it's about 6-inch difference or so. So I just did my particular situation. I came up my 5 feet, came down about 6 inches, came down another 15.5, and I made a mark right there. And then I just now took my meter base, or my panel, I lifted it up, lined up my knockout hole with my 15.5 inch center line dimension from the meter base socket, and I drew my circle. Now I'm gonna hole saw that out through, and that will establish my height of my mounting plate outside. That's what I'm trying to do, get my mounting plate. Where do I put it? Well, I have to, that hole dictates everything. Really, the 5 foot dictates everything from finished grade. Then all the math, my math might be different than yours, but that's just my process, how I came up with where to put that hole. Got the hole saw hole drilled. Got it clamped into place. I got a little bit of clearance in that hole, so all I did was I lifted this whole deal up until it wouldn't go up no more, made a mark from this corner here. I dropped it all the way, made a mark. So then I lifted it up between the two marks, so I should be centered. In that hole, I should be centered. And I got it C-clamped into place. So I'm gonna go outside now, I'm gonna see where that lands. And by the way, this panel here, I got one of these in there. And it has that bore going through there. And in this one here, a box adapter, they call this one, I am going to put this on the outside meter, and I'm going to push this into this one that's on the back side right here. So we'll see that when I go outside. You're going to see this view pointing that way, and then this will come into it through the other box, and I'll glue it in. Because it's a 2x4 wall, you don't got much room there. This is the only way I can find something compact enough that when they go together, I go all the way in with that thing, all the way down. My package right here is what I need, right here. 2x6 wall, you would be using a piece of, you'd probably be using two of these, one in each box, and then a short piece of conduit. Well, I can't use two of these. They hit each other before both meter housings get close enough. Alright, there's that sticking out. I wish it was sticking in about another 3/8 of an inch, but it's okay. So I got that. So by the time I take this guy right there, and I got, you know, a little gap there. So I'll get this guy, just go through the other box and pilot into there, and I'll glue it. And then that'll pinch it all in, and that'll hold. Okay, before I mount this, I'm going to go ahead and, this is nice about doing it this way, I can get silicone in here now, or great stuff, whatever I want to use. Anything to seal this up, I'm going to use silicone. I got some really good stuff, and I'm just going to silicone that up real good, and that'll seal, keep me weather tight into the building there. Alright, that's right where that bushing is going to be when the box is mounted. Right where it'll be. So I got a 7/16 gap in there where it should be shouldering out. It's no big deal. It's just pushing wires through there. You want kind of a smooth transition. So I'm going to cut me a piece of 2-inch pipe, conduit, 7/16 long, and I'm going to glue that in first. And that'll create a new shoulder. I'm just filling that gap, that's what I'm doing. And that'll give this bushing a nice positive surface to shoulder up against when I glue it in. Alright, I got this box all mounted. It's permanent, but not really. I got to pull it back out. So I got some 1.25 inch long lags. You know, don't use deck screws, nothing like that. Use a nice flanged head lag screw. So this side I drew up nice and flush, and this side I shimmed. Get it nice and square. And then I went outside. Let me go show you what I did there. Well, before we go outside, I'm going to be using this deal, T-nut. And the reason why is, you know, the meter base, it's going to be right behind this. They're so close together, you can't put no, you know, a 2x4 behind there to lag screw into. There's nothing, there's no meat. So you use these guys, these little T-nuts, and I'll show you how to do that here once I got to take this back out. But I had to put this in because that conduit lined me up for the mounting block outside, and I'm going to go show you that now before I pull it back off. Actually, that's not going to pull back off. That's staying on. This is going to pull off, but let me go show you out there. Alright, so as you can see, it pops through right there. So that's what dictates where this sits now. And I already have that pre-drilled for the meter base, did earlier. So I went ahead and leveled it, got it where I wanted it. Just put some roofing nails in there, you know, because by the time I mount this to those T-nuts, that's going to pull everything in real nice and tight. So these really are just kind of holding it in position for now. So now that I got, this is already siliconed in too behind there. Probably can't see it, but I got silicone between the hole saw I drilled out and the conduit, all nice and weather tight. So now I go inside and take that meter base or breaker panel back out, and then I can drill these through the 5/16 bit all the way through the OSB and then pound those T-nuts in. Alright, got the breaker panel back out. The silicone is holding that back in right where it belongs, so I was real careful when I pulled it off. Now I'm going to go back outside and transfer those 5/16 holes through on this side, and we'll pound those T-nuts in. Got it temporarily mounted to the mounting block there. It's just through the plastic. Got my 4 screws in. Everything is leveled up real nice. Now I'm gonna pull 1 screw out, get my long drill through, and then I'm gonna temporarily install my T-nut in the back, and then my 1/4 screw this way. And I'll show you why, because I'm gonna have to actually pull this back off, silicone the top, stick it back on. So gotta be a little bit of a process, but I'm gonna go ahead and drill them and put my screws in there, the 1/4. All right, back inside. There it is. There's the hole I just drilled. There's my T-nut. Some of these have serrations on the face and you beat them in. These don't. So you just stick it in the hole. It's nice and almost flush. And I have some other screws. I guess got some number 6 sheet metal screws. And I'm going to show you what I do with those. I'm going to run a couple of them. Call them Dutchmans. Right here on the edge. One here and one here. And I'm just going to hold this in. So I'm going to go ahead and screw them in there and you'll see what that looks like. Okay, there you go. Probably could have used a smaller screw and just went through those holes. But same concept. It ain't going anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the other side. Put the permanent hardware in there. And I'll have to mark it because I don't want to stick them through. So I got to mark it and cut them when I'm done. Alright, I got all 4 holes drilled, T-nuts in place. Everything is secured on ice. Now I'm going to pull this back off. I'm going to put my siding back on and cut it and get it all in a J-channel where it belongs. Then I'm going to silicone. I already got it marked. I want to beat a silicone behind there. Right here, all the way down. Right behind here. Something gets behind this. And I'm going to put a bead down the sides and leave the bottom right there. I'm going to leave the whole bottom open. So condensation or anything that's in there, at least that can get out. So yeah, I'll seal that up real good. And I'm going to go ahead and tape all this. Same way you do windows. And put siding back on and put it back on permanent. Alright, I got it all taped up. So I do the bottom first, both sides, then the top. Push it in real nice. Alright, got the siding all done. I got a nice bead of silicone on top there. Kind of hanging out. So that meter base will hit that when I bolt it on. All 4 bolt holes. A little bit of silicone. And ready to throw that thing on. Alright, meter base is on. Got it pretty level. Bolts are tight. Silicone is on. Just the sides and top. That should work. Onto the inside. Got the breaker box mounted, leveled, sealed, tight. Again, use good screws. Use good lag screws. And she's solid. That's all good. It's hot. So let's go outside. I'll show you that real quick. Alright, there's that. I got all the covers on it. Looking pretty good. So, yeah, I like this deal. Got that glued in. Nice and tight. This thing is solid. No way it's going to fail inspection. Alright, so, next step. Got to run some wires. So I got to wire this sucker into the breaker panel inside there. I got to run some conduit here. Got to trench it. I got a lot of stuff going on here. I got water coming in. I got a gas line coming in, so I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm probably going to go ahead and do my water since it's deepest. I may just keep the trench all open, we'll see, until NIPSCO comes out and hooks up. But anyways, that part is done. Starting my wiring process. So I got some 2-watt copper. That's what I'm running right here for 200 amp service. I'm only going from there to the other side of the wall, as you've seen, very short. So that's gonna be my neutral right there. I gotta get some white tape and tape it up white. And that will be my neutral. So I'm getting ready to get that in there and tighten it up. And then I'll go to the other side, run it where it needs to go and cut it, hook it up. And then I'll run my one leg here, 120 volt, and the other leg here, 120 volt. And then I will have a number 4 copper wire. I'll run through the box, all the way through to the meter base and ground it over there, and then go from that to a grounding rod. There's the other side, neutral. So I pretty much stick it all the way flush that side, and I got the got it stripped right flush to that side. So there's enough, you know, it's all metal and metal and not much exposed. You don't want that jacket up inside there either, so gotta be careful. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and push the other first 110 volt through, 120, whatever it is. I'm gonna tape it red until I get some white tape. I gotta tape that one white. All right, there's my 2 hots and my neutral. Yeah, I still mark that with white. And then right now I'm bringing my ground in. So I'm gonna, that's a solid copper, number 4, I believe. Yeah, 4 gauge. I gotta route that. I'm gonna tuck it in here real nice. Do a little loop, come down right here. There's the ground. Everything is terminated. So got your hot. There's my 240. There's my ground. Going to the panel inside the house. There's the other ground. Going through the conduit. Down to the ground rod. 1/2 inch diameter, 8 foot deep. I'm too hot, I gotta knock off for the day, but tomorrow's job, I got a 2.5 inch. That's gonna be the line coming in, the main line coming in, needs to be 2.5 inch. Like 18 inch diameter, or 18 inch deep, 24 inch deep, I gotta look it up. So I'm just gonna run it, and I'm gonna run it out here a little ways, and keep the trench open for them. They can feed their wire up in there, because everything else I'm running water and stuff through here, so I don't want them to have to dig up here if they don't have to. Forgot one small detail. That right there, I gotta fill that in with some, what I got here is some duct seal. So it's just a putty. So I'm just gonna pack it in there real nice. If I got enough there, I'll probably do both sides. I'll go outside and do the other side too. Just prevents any drafts or bugs or just any elements of any kind getting through there. All right, there we have it. Got it all packed in real nice. All around all the wires. Just prevent any drafts or anything. I'm gonna go to the other side and do the same thing. There's the other side, got it all packed in there. Even did the ground. Why not? One last detail. right there, the bonding screw, the green screw. I gotta screw that thing in. There it says it right there, foot-pounds and all that. I'm gonna get my torque wrench and I'm gonna torque it down. But I do have to bond that. It has to be screwed in to bond the neutral to the ground. So I gotta do it. All right, I put my request in for an inspection and had to get some sleep. I'm up and building inspector was supposed to be by. Let's go see what happened. Oh, I see green. Green is good. We like green. Actually, I already knew it was in there, but just wanted to show you. There it is. It passed inspection. So anybody in there says I did anything wrong, not for my county, I didn't. It's good. Yes, there should be a feeder pipe coming down, and hang on. There it is. He's seen it sitting there. I told him I was in the process. I got to dig it out. I got to dig it a little bit here and put it in. He goes, that's fine. So I do got to take care of that. Other than that, I am going to call this video done. And subscribe to my channel. Keep following along. Next video will be part 6, because this is going to be part 5, meter base installation. Part 6 will be actually finishing the wiring inside the building to the lights and the outlets. So that'll be the next video. So keep following us along. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, and I'll see you next time.